of course, as we've said, we've had 2 days of one-way traffic, really. But I don't think that's going to happen tomorrow, because tomorrow is a cracker game with 2 teams who, different degrees, but they have things to prove in this tournament. Kolkata does for sure. Chennai also, after that 10-wicket win in their last game. A lot of people, it was amazing. Everyone talking about the batting order and who's going to come at 4, 5, 6. The opener said, you know what? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We ain't giving nobody no chance. But again, tomorrow, Michael, this game as well. Both teams really have a few things to prove.
Yeah, I mean, tonight, I think on commentary, Danny Morrison called them the Dad's Army. They are an old team full of experience. They desperately needed that win. Stephen Fleming, after the game, the coach, obviously praised the 2 senior pros at the top of the order, but he wasn't so sure about the fielders. He wasn't happy with the way that they moved in the field. So even though they won the game convincingly, there was areas of concern for Stephen Fleming. It's not often, actually, you hear Stephen Fleming criticised. I wouldn't say criticised, but it's not often that you hear him talk negatively about anything that his teams do. Generally, he's very positive. Him and MS Dhoni. I think that's the first time I've heard him really kind of talk about the field, and that'd be a real concern for me with the ages of that team. That when they get in a game when it might come down to 10 or 15 runs and fielding will be a big part, that's when they might have their downfall. They have to win tomorrow. I mean, KKR are a team that I fancy this time round. Where Owen Morgan ends up, we'll have to wait and see throughout the tournament. But I just think they've got enough in their batting department, the bowling, the matchups, their kind of combinations, that they could be a real threat. I'd expect them to beat Chennai tomorrow. I think they'll beat.
And pretty unanimous, everybody saying that Morgan should be coming at number 4. But let's look at the Chennai squad first and get Polly's comments on that. Do you see any changes happening with Chennai? The answer is no. Let's move on. Sorry, Polly.
Well, it's not far off the truth. I mean, they don't like to change, do they? And I think there's been some decent contributions now. Eventually, they've got themselves into the tournament. And I'd be very surprised when they haven't been playing well. There hasn't been any changes. So after they win by 10 wickets, I'd be very surprised. I think Bravo just brings a little bit more to them. I quite like Takur in the team there with the start of Chahar. I think he starts off brilliantly for them. And I think they've got a nice blend there. I don't have any issues. I always just think at some stage, I think Imran Tahir will probably get a go, but I just don't see how he fits in and who he comes in. I think probably the guy who might start to become under a little bit of pressure would be Sam Curran.
Yeah.
His contributions he makes, they're valuable at times, but I think as the tournament goes on, the pitches start to wear. I think the contribution that a Tahir or even a Josh Hazlewood could play with the extra bounce they get, I think those might be the guys they start to turn to. But they do like the little bit he brings to the party with his left-hand batting.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how the 2 senior pros, Watson and Faf, handle Pat Cummins. On this kind of wicket, we've seen it. It's the same pitch. I believe they'll play tomorrow. I'll be interested to see how Pat Cummins goes against those 2 senior pros, because he'll charge in, he'll whack the pitch as he always does. That could be a key battle in the game.
Will he get the new ball though? Because we just can't take that for granted anymore, can we?
Totally.
But I think also another person needs to stand up as Andrew Russell. He's been a bit off colour in this tournament so far. He hasn't been at his best, and there's got a lot of plans in place, I think, from teams when they come up against him about what they're going to do to make him ineffective, and it seems to be working. So I think it might be more of the same tomorrow. But when he starts whacking it, and the self-belief in that middle order of Kolkata tends to grow, and I think their team vibe and spirit sort of changes a bit. So if he comes off, then you've got to start to watch out for them.
A few questions, of course, about the batting order for Kolkata while we pull the team up on your screen. Wani, I'll ask you both. Sunil Narayan still opener in your book, and Morgan, actually, should Ian Morgan come at number 4? The answer is yes, and let's move on. Sunil Narayan, should he still be opening, and Morgan batting at 4? Your thoughts?
I'd stay with that at this stage. I mean, Narayan is hit and miss, probably miss hit. He's not consistent, but you hope that he can have a 20 ball impact on the game in that power play if he can. He can get them out of the traps, and I think it takes that to allow Andre Russell to kind of just manoeuvre himself further down, not to get too many balls, so he can come out and just strike it pretty much from ball one. That's for me when Andre Russell's at his best. Morgan is a wonderful player, and he really would prefer more balls, but I don't think I'd be changing it just yet. I'd be studying the captaincy of Dinesh Karthik. I mean, when you've got someone like Owen Morgan in the team, who's an incredible leader, a brilliant white ball captain, I just hope that Dinesh is kind of leaning on Owen's kind of shoulder for a few ideas and thoughts, because he is, I know it's not much in the world of white ball cricket, but he's England's best white ball captain by a country mile over the years. And over the last 2 or 3 years, he's been the best white ball captain in the world. So I'd be amazed if they're not kind of just picking a few of Owen's white ball brains to try and improve their performance.
I'm sure they would be. Paulie, you think, I mean, for a captain as well, right? When you're a captain and you're out of form, and then you're asking questions, oh my God, am I eating up deliveries that Russell could be facing, or Morgan could be facing? And then your team's not going over the line. It can, and then you're not getting the runs. It really can sort of trouble and disturb you, can't it?
Yeah, it can. And also after last year, I mean, there was much publicized about the management being changed, and sort of infighting. A couple of camps sort of had formed in the last season. And this is a new season. You try and wipe the slate clean and start afresh. But as a leader, when there's new management that comes in and you are still the captain, you want to put in some performances to make them get behind you and believe. And you're only human. When you've got an international captain of the likes of Morgan in your ranks, you're wondering, are the people sort of tending to head towards his direction and asking him for advice or his thoughts rather than me? You're only human to think along those lines. So in order to put that to rest, you need to put in some quality performances yourself and help your team get over the line.